I'm normally really good at keeping track of like what books have come in throughout the month, and apparently this month I just decided to give up. So I'm very potentially missing something from this haul, but we will see. Hi everyone, my name's Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is going to be my October book haul. Like I said, I think this is everything that I hauled in October, but I have no idea. For the beginning of the month I had like barely anything, and then in the last week I've just had things arrive, and I had a few things arrive on like the 1st and 3rd, because that is today, of November as well, and I'm just trying to figure out which ones arrived like on the 31st of October and which ones arrived on the 1st of November. And I know it doesn't really matter because whichever ones I've not hauled now I will haul next month, but my brain just wants it all to be in place. Anyway, it's a whole video, you know what one of these is. I'm going to show you all the books that I acquired in the month of October. So the first one that I have, I do know I didn't actually haul anything until like a week into the month, I think, because I think it came just after release day, which was the 4th of October. And that is The First to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This is the prequel to They Both Die at the End. I keep wanting to say the prequel to The First to Die at the End. I'm like, no, that is the book you are holding. I've just like talked about this in my wrap up and did the same thing. It's a prequel to They Both Die at the End, and for anyone who doesn't know, these books are set in a world where on the day that you are going to die you get a call from a company called Deathcast, which tells you that today is the day you're going to die. You don't know like how or exactly when, but it's going to be during that day. This is a prequel because it is actually on the first day that that happens, so very few people are signed up to the service. But our two main characters, Orion and Valentino, are, and one of them is the first person to get that phone call. They are the first person the Deathcast contacts, and it is about how they spend their last day. It's also a little bit about Deathcast and how sort of the company runs on its first day, because spoiler alert, not everything goes exactly to plan. And I have already read this. I really enjoyed it, not quite as much as the first one, but I did really enjoy it. I do like this edition of it, although I am a bit annoyed that it is in a hardback that is not like the same size as the other hardbacks that they have released of the UK version of this, because the hardbacks we've had of the first one have all been like special editions, and it just doesn't quite match up with them, because the original release of the first one was a paperback in the UK, and they've only started doing this in hardback because the first one's been so popular in the last few years. Like I went to an Adam Silvera book signing for this, and he was talking about how like the ridiculous success that They Both Die at the End has had, and he was like, I outsold every YA book last year. It's like, think of a huge YA book, I outsold it. And he was just like, how? But yeah, it's been very successful, and that's why we've got more in this world, which I'm happy about, because I do enjoy Adam Silvera's writing, mostly anyway, and it does mean we get nicer editions on first printing, because look, we get pretty stenciled edges as well. It was a signed copy anyway, but then I did get it personalised at the signing event, and underneath it's just a orange. But yeah, that is the first book that I got during the month, and then I went like 2 weeks without receiving anything. And then I made up for it. So I know I went so long without receiving anything because I remember this one came just before I went to London to go to Musical Con with Becca, because I got to her house and hers had just arrived, and I was like, oh, mine came yesterday. So I know it came around about the 20th of the month. And this is the FairyLoot YA, I believe, for this month. Yeah, the adult one came on the 1st of November, so it'll be on next month's haul. But this is a YA. It is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I know nothing about this book. I will give you the synopsis in a minute. I wasn't overly impressed with this edition of it. Like, the foiling is very pretty, but we have just like a block green sprayed edge that isn't even necessarily the best done. Like, I don't know if you can see those marks on it. And then we've got illustrated end papers that are actually quite pretty. There's the back ones as well. And then we have a reversible dust jacket that is, yeah, there we go, it's gonna shine, there we go. But yeah, I just felt like it's not the like nicest special edition they've done. You get one every so often where it feels like they're saving a budget for like a bigger release, and this just feels like that. It's also not signed, which I don't necessarily care about, but just out of interest to let you know. I'm going to tell you the synopsis now though. So it says, I was born with a fever, my blood dark as night. An ancient mercurial spirit is trapped inside Elspeth is trapped inside Elspeth Spindle's head. She calls him the Nightmare. He protects her, he keeps her secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elspeth meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, she is thrust into a world of shadow and deception. Together they embark on a dangerous quest to cure the town of Blunder from the dark magic infecting it. As the stakes heighten and their undeniable attraction intensifies, Elspeth is forced to face her darkest secret yet. The Nightmare is slowly darkly taking over her mind, and she might not be able to stop him. Does actually sound pretty interesting. It sounds like something that I would like to read. It's described as a gothic fantasy romance about a maiden who must unleash the monster within to save her kingdom. It sounds interesting. I just wish that the edition had a little bit more to it. It's still prayer. Like, again, the foiling's prayer, but you know, fairy loot sometimes like really knocks it out of the park, and this just wasn't quite that. Next up, we have a book that I actually bought when I was in London. I got to London like earlier on in the afternoon, and I was meeting Becca after she finished work, so I had a few hours to waste, and I wasted them by going into a bookshop and the theatre cafe, because I am nothing if not on brand. And I went into Gaze Word and picked up Lark and Cassim Start a Revolution. This is by Kiss and Calendar. I have read 2 Kiss and Calendar books before. One of them I thought was okay, and one of them I absolutely adored. The one that I absolutely adored was Felix Ever After. The other one, I can't remember the name of it, but I unhauled it recently and it doesn't have like a list of all the books I've wrote in here, so I honestly don't know. But Felix Ever After I really loved, and this is their sort of new release after that, and I don't really know what it's about other than it's these 2 characters want to start a revolution. Let me try and give you a synopsis. I'm not just going to read this one, I'll try and summarise it for you. Actually no, I am going to read the synopsis because this sounds more complicated but in a good way. So, Lark Winters wants to be a writer, and for now that means posting on their social media accounts anything to build their platform. When former best friend Cassim accidentally posts a thread on Lark's Twitter declaring his love for a secret, unrequited crush, Lark's tweets are suddenly the talk of the school and beyond. To protect Cassim, Lark decides to take the fall, pretending they accidentally posted the thread in reference to another classmate. It seems like a great idea. Lark gets closer to their crush, Cassim keeps his privacy, and Lark's social media stats explode. But living a lie takes a toll, as does the judgment of thousands of internet strangers. Lark tries their best to be perfect at all costs, but nothing seems good enough for the anonymous hordes or for Cassim, who is growing closer to Lark just like it used to be between them. In the end, Lark must embrace their right to their messy emotions and learn how to be in love. This sounds fun. It sounds more along the lines of Felix Ever After than the other one. It was something about like, it's kind of an epic love story, is that what it's called? I think it was. There we go, brain clicked into place eventually. But this sounds more along the lines of Felix Ever After, and yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. And it feels like it'll be a quick read. Maybe I'll even try and add it onto my November TBR, who knows. Then I've got a couple of books that I got from Book Depository because I needed US editions to sort of match other things, or just because I wanted a US edition. The first one being The Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas. This is the 3rd book by Aidan Thomas now. It is based on Mexican mythology. It's about semidioses, which translates to like demigods. And it's about a competition that happens in order to become a sunbearer, and that's about all I know of it, but I'm very excited for it. I have had an ARC for a while in a ARC. I did not read it in time. I tried to. I did it in a try a chapter vlog, but then I was like really interested in the other book and ended up reading that one, which was sad because I did actually really like the sound of this one as well. I just didn't end up picking it up, and then slumped in September, so I didn't pick it up then either, and that was the original plan. But I needed the US hardback of this because I had the US hardback of both of Aidan Thomas's other books, Lost in the Neverwoods and Cemetery Boys, so I needed it to match, obviously. It is a very pretty cover. It's a very pretty cover. I love this illustration. And we've got a map on the end papers. We've got a little skull on the actual book as well, and this one is on my tentative TBR for November. Basically, I've done my TBR, MASH TBR, and then I have a couple of other books that I want to get around to reading, but I haven't like officially put them on my TBR. This is one of them. I already have my prompts picked out. I thought they were in this book, but apparently they're not. But I do already have my West End Reads prompt picked out for it. One of them, I remember, is a Sunshine book, because obviously, and I can't remember what the other one is, but either way, I'm excited to read it. We then have got a special edition of a book that I already own, another US one that I had to track down, and that is I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. I got the Loveless American edition that came out last year, earlier on this year, whenever it came out. I got that one and I really love it. It looks beautiful on my shelves. So when this one got announced, I was like, well, I want that. Also, it has a new short story in it that I do need to read. This is about a girl who's obsessed with a boy band, and she ends up meeting them and things kind of go from there. And I really enjoyed this book. It spoke a lot to me as somebody who was in a boy band fandom when she was younger, and some of it was like frighteningly accurate. But yeah, I'm excited to have the US copy. Like I said, I really want to read the bonus story. I can't even remember what the bonus like chapter is actually about. I feel like it was more to do with the band, but I can't remember exactly what it was about. But Alice actually drew the cover for this. That's the front, that's the back, and then underneath it says, I don't know if you can see it, it's embossed, it says I was born for this, and it's got like a play, rewind, fast forward type thing on the top as well. Oh yeah, I thought so actually. The bonus story says Jimmy is one of the two narrators of I Was Born for This, and in his part of the story we learn a lot about his relationship with his two bandmates, Rowan, the boy he's known since primary school, and Lister, the boy he doesn't understand as well as he should. And this and it says basically that you know a lot about his relationship with them, but this is about their relationship with each other. So it is about Jimmy, it's about Rowan and Lister, which I love both of them, so I'm very excited to read it. But also like may as well reread the book while I'm reading that story, obviously. Next up, we have one that I've actually already read this month. It's the first book that I read in the month of November, and that is Demon in the Wood. Story by Leigh Bardugo, and then the artwork is by Danny Pendergast. This is a graphic novel that is set in the Grishaverse. So this is actually a prequel. It is about the Darkling before he became the Darkling. And like I said, I've already read it. It was based on a short story, and it is basically about the Darkling and his relationship with his mother, and also sort of how somebody went from sort of having this power that no one really understood to being this tightly terrifying bad guy that he is in the later books. I really enjoyed this actually. This is the Illumicrate special edition. I was going to just get the standard edition, well actually no, the Waterstones exclusive edition, and then Waterstones just seemed to like not be taking my money for something, for like two other things that were in the order with this. It was a couple of weeks before this came out, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to cancel everything and then buy this one from Illumicrate, because the other two I managed to find in the shop. So this, like I said, is the Illumicrate edition. It has sprayed edges. I don't know if the cover's any different. Those are the end papers. Ignore my West End Reads prompts that are in there. And then this is the foiling on the naked hardback. I'd be very interested to see more of the Darkling's backstory, but also kind of want it to be left vague because I think it's a bit creepier. But no, it was nice to have this bit of an insight. And then last but by no means least, I have a set of books actually. It's only two, but it is a set. And this is the Atlas 6 and the Atlas Paradox, and these are the Illumicrate editions. I missed out on the Atlas 6 Illumicrate edition when it first got released, but look how pretty it is. I basically chose not to get it because I was like, I'm getting the Fairy Loot one anyway, and I'm getting a standard edition, and I made a mistake because these are obviously prettier, because like seriously, look at it, it's so shiny and sparkly. And then we've got sprayed edges as well, and there is also artwork on the end papers. It's the same on the front and the back for that. And then we've got this on the naked hardback as well. So it's very pretty. So it's a very pretty book, and I had to get it. There was basically, you could get a bundle of the first and the second one, when the second one got released. There was a limited number of people that would get the hand signed copy, but you didn't know if you were going to get hand signed or digital. I ended up with a digital signed one, which I'm fine with. But I'm just very happy to have the Illumicrate edition, because I'm going to probably get rid of my Fairy Loot one and then keep this one because I like this one more. And then obviously I got the second one as well. So this is the Atlas Paradox, which I will be reading in the month of November. This is actually on my TBR, and again, very shiny, sparkly. We've got sprayed edges, digitally printed edges actually. I can ignore the West End Reads prompts, but we've got character art on the end papers, same on the front and the back again. And then we've got this symbol on, I don't know if you can see how holographic that actually is. And then this one I believe is actually hand signed. So very happy to now have that set. And that is actually all the books that I hauled in the month of October, because I'm just looking, I've got two others and I piled on there, but I know they both came on Tuesday, so they're definitely both November ones. And then I've had another one arrive today. So November's getting off to like a quicker hauling start than October did. Let me just grab everything I got in October though, so I can show you guys, and also for the thumbnail obviously. So these are all the books that hauled in the month of October. I'm quite happy with these. We've got some nice pretty editions, but it's not like too over the top. My birthday in November, so you know, there's no telling what that haul's gonna look like. But for now, it's a little bit more reserved for me anyway. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below, and I will see you guys next time with a new video. Bye.